Terminating Crestron Crest Fiber 8G. You'll need the following items: an optional jacket stripper, Kevlar shears, 3-hole stripper, the connector, VFIs, one or the other, measuring card, Sharpie, the cleaver, cleaning fluid, cleaning cloths. A couple notes before we get started. First one on the cleaver. As you face the cleaver, here's the cleaver arm, collection bucket, clamp. On the side, the cleaver arm is locked. Press down, slide the button towards you, lift up. That'll raise the cleaver arm. Clamp up. You'll see that there are 2 channels. The furthest one from us is the one that we will be laying the fiber in. There's a button in the front that, as you press it, will open a door that allows the fiber to go into the cleaning basket. When we insert the fiber, we're going to come in, lay it flat across into the channel, close the channel, press firmly down. As we lift up, the mechanism will pull the fiber into the cleaning bucket, turn a couple times to make sure it's set in there. Before you start, take your visual fault indicator, take the cap off, do not look in the end, turn it on, make sure that you get a light out of the end of it, unbag the connector. Connector comes in 2 pieces. The boot, which we will need in a minute, and the connector itself. When you remove the connector from the bag, you should give it a squeeze, top to bottom, make sure that the wedges are set, remove the dust cover. Do not throw that away. You'll need that here in a bit. Gently insert the connector into the VFI. Turn on the light. You should see a nice bright light in that window. The VFI is now set and ready to go. Set that aside. Next thing we're going to want to do is get to our fiber. To do that, we have 1 of 2 choices. We can use the Kevlar shears, take off a bit of the end, then use the rip cord inside to pull it back, or with an optional jacket stripper, we can come back about a foot. Give it a couple of twists, and then gently, slowly, so as to make sure we're going to get a good cut, pull the jacket through the slitter. Once we've done that, we can come in, separate the jacket, and remove the fiber. Once we remove the jacket, we'll want to cut away the ripcord. Remove all the ribbon, plastic, from the fibers. Once you've separated the fibers, you'll find that there's a fiberglass rod in the middle of this. We'll need to remove that. So carefully spread the fibers apart, come in with the Kevlar shears as close to the bottom as you can, and cut that and dispose of it properly. For clarity purposes, we're going to work with the orange fiber. The next step we'll need the measuring card and our Sharpie. On the measuring card, there are 2 lines. The top one is for the outer buffer. The bottom one will be for our second set of cuts and strips. So we start off with the top one, laying our fiber down on the card, measuring back 70 millimeters, and making a mark. We now take our stripper. Little note on the stripper. The stripper has 3 holes located on it. The larger hole is for the outer buffer, the middle hole is for the inner tight buffer, and the third hole is to remove the Teflon/paraffin coating on the inside. Never use the strippers to cut the outer jacket or to attempt to cut the fiber. It will damage them. So I'm going to place on the outer hole, give it a little pull, take the outer buffer off, a little puff of air, get the omrod or Kevlar fibers away from the fiber. Then I'm going to lay it down on the card, once again lining it up with the end. We're going to make 2 marks. The first mark at 40 millimeters, second mark at 55 millimeters. 40 millimeters is what we're going to strip to. The second one at 55 acts as a reference as we go into the connector to make sure we've gone in far enough. So I'm going to take my Sharpie, make a mark at 40 millimeters, make a mark at 55. We can then put that away. I'm going to remove the inner tight buffer down to this mark, but I'm going to do it in 3 swipes. So taking about a third, pull it off, about a third, pull it off, and then finally the last one, pull it off. Now with the tight buffer removed, I'm still left with the paraffin coating. At this point I have bare glass. We want to be very careful not to touch the end or touch the glass in any way. We can make it dirty with us making a bad connection, or we can poke it into our skin. So I'm going to lay this into the last channel in a swipe, pull that off, and that should get rid of the paraffin coating. The next thing I will need is I will need the cleaning fluid and a cleaning cloth. I'm going to take a couple swipes at it. Until I hear that nice distinctive squeak. That will indicate to me that the fiber is clean. I'm now ready to cleave. So I'm going to open up the clamp. I'm going to push the button in the center. That'll open the door. And I want to take the fiber and I want to fly it in. This may take a couple of tries to get it to lay flat across the channel. Once you have it flat across the cleaving channel, you want to make sure that the buffer is set somewhere right around the 10.5 to 11 millimeter mark, 10.5 being optimal. Once it's set, I'm good to go. I'm going to press firmly down, release, give a couple turns clockwise, lift the handle, and when I pull her out, I should have the fiber ready to go into the connector. I grab my VFL, I check, turn it on, make sure that I got a bright light, and then I guide the fiber into the connector, pushing until the light dims. Please note as I pull it in and out, you'll see that the light dims. Once it's dimmed, I'm going to squeeze side to side, pulling the wedges out, and then at that point I can turn off the VFL, pull the connector out, put the dust cap back on, take the Kevlar, pull tightly on it, give it a little strain relief, screw the boot on. Once the boot on, come in with the Kevlar shears, clean up the connector, and there you have a properly terminated 8G crushed on fiber.